Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is going to be a video about how I'm personally preparing for this bear market and what I'm thinking about during all of these declines. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm saving money. So it's more about CNFTs and what I'm really looking at for CNFTs. However, it is important to look at the market because I do think that the market is lagging and cryptos are kind of leading this decline lower. But eventually some money that I have sitting on the sidelines will go into the stock market, but personally, I'm just not convinced that it's bottomed out. And I know it's not good to try to pick the bottom. However, our macro situation is not looking good at all. And these things are likely not going to correct themselves anytime soon. Just for some context, these are the prices of our fertilizer, and this is throughout the last 2 years. So this purple line is 2020. This green line is just 1 year later, 2021. That is ridiculously large. And then 2022, we started going up, we've stabilized again. Wouldn't surprise me if we continued higher. And I'm sure everybody knows what that means, but in reality, what this really means is that the price of all of the foods in your supermarket are likely going to increase. So the thought that I've been having is, are we going to see a CNFT dip like we're seeing with Ethereum NFT dips? And a lot of people are telling me no, because there's just not enough money in it for the dip to even really matter. So let's take Clay Nation for an example. So the price of Cardano right now is 47 cents, and the price of a Clay is 2,900. So if you multiply 0.47 by 2,900, you're going to be left with $1,363. And this number is actually pretty close to the stimulus checks that we got during COVID. And if you go check out the average monthly rent inside of the United States, it's about $1,827 a month. My point is, this money does not change your life that much. You could sell maybe one Clay, and maybe that would help you pay the bill 1 month, but likely not, because that doesn't even cover water, electricity, medical, your food, if you have children, if you have any sort of outstanding debt. However, that's not the case with Ethereum NFTs. You look at Bored Ape Yacht Club, for example, and the floor price right now is 90 ETH. ETH at this very moment is worth $1,081. Well, you multiply 90 by 1,080 and you get $97,000. Now that is life-altering money. That can help you last the rest of the year, maybe even 2 years, depending on where you live. And at one point, these NFTs were going for 400,000 a floor. And if we compare our best NFT in the Cardano space, which is a space bud, to Ethereum's best NFT, we still don't see that kind of decline. So the big question in my head is, will it hit the Cardano ecosystem? So obviously we don't know. This is the whole point of the video, what I'm preparing for multiple situations. Situation 1, we lose 50 to 75% of the value of these space buds and other blue chips in the ecosystem. So I'm not saying Cardano goes down 50 to 75% more than it already has. What I'm saying is, let's say this space bud that's floor right now is 5,600. Let's say that goes down 50 to 75%. Well, in this scenario, I'm going to be down a lot of money. This means my Clays are also likely to be down, all my equine, and pretty much every NFT that I'm a part of. That's actually why I started off the video saying I'm saving a lot of money. Now, I don't think this situation is necessarily going to happen, but I would like to be prepared for it in the off chance that it does. Now, going through OpenCNFT.io, you can see that people are buying well above the floor price and trying to get in and just buy ones that they like. So the scenario of them dropping below floor price isn't happening right now, but I'm just talking about a scenario where it does. In this scenario, having a lot of money on the sidelines will be extremely beneficial for buying up these space buds if they do happen to go 50% off. This would be a huge win if I had a lot of money sitting on the sidelines and I could get into a space bud at, let's say, 2,000 to 3,000 ADA. Again, I am not saying that this will happen, but the reason why I'm thinking about this scenario is because this scenario is the only scenario where I'm in a very bad spot in my life. I am already heavily invested into Clay Nation, Equine, Cornucopias, you name it. I have put a lot of my money into CNFTs. So if we do see this dip and it hits space buds, it's going to hit everything. So during this time, I'm going to want to make my money back without selling out of my assets at a loss. And the only way to do that is to buy more on the dip. And what do I want to buy more on the dip? Well, I want to buy the best NFTs on the dip, because I don't want to play these games with brand new projects and hope that they can 20, 30, 100x. I would rather guarantee myself a really good asset for prices that we may never see this cheap ever again. Now, if you asked me and I had a gun to my head, what do you think is going to happen? I wouldn't suggest that space buds are going to fall 50 to 75% off. I don't see that happening. Cardano's already down that much. I don't see the point of having these assets also fall while Cardano's at these lows. However, we have seen it in Ethereum, but like we've talked about before, Ethereum had a lot more meat on the bone. So then we get to situation 2, where there's not really a dip, and some projects actually do very, very well, and we just continue doing our CNFT thing. In this scenario, I'm still saving money on the sidelines, but I'm going to be using it a little bit differently. Keep in mind, I have to use the same strategy. I have to save money on the sidelines because I'm preparing for situation 1, which I don't think is going to happen, but I'm not going to allow myself to get overzealous and not think about the possibilities. During situation 2, I'm going to have a little bit of money on the sidelines as well, and I'm going to continue to look for projects that I think are undervalued. Now, one of the projects I've always thought was undervalued was Equine. Looking for laggers and leaders in the market is my favorite way to trade, but is more important, I think, during a bear market to look for the laggers, because once you see a project start to moon, you don't want to try to buy it at that peak because it's likely going to dip back down. We are in a bear market and there's only so much liquidity that people are actually willing to spend right now. Also, I don't necessarily think that Equine is the best buy right now. I was buying around 300, and I also bought a few during the last dip where it did dip down to about 265. But the last note that I really want to make, aside from saving money, is when to use this money that you're saving. I've been noticing there's a 1 to 2 month pattern within CNFTs, and it's been repeating for as long as I've been trading. There's about a 2-month bull run where CNFTs do pretty well. You can pretty much mint anything that has a decent amount of hype, and you'll be able to flip it for a 1.5x to a 2x, which if you're from Ethereum, that's laughable, but still, hey, it's profit. But then you hit the 2-month bear run where we don't do anything, and everything that mints, even good projects, go below mint as soon as they mint. This is a time where if you are finding good projects, you're going to want to buy them off the floor. You're not going to want to mint them. And I do believe that that is a period that we are in right now. I like to use OpenCNFT.io's market tool to go and look at the peaks and valleys of our volume for CNFTs. And whenever you see a large increase like this, it's usually our peak, but is also usually because of a very good mint, such as Cornucopias, Clay Nation, something along those lines. And then shortly after, a lot of the liquidity was zapped up during that time, and we enter into a bear market. So during this time, if there is a good project, you're going to want to buy it off the floor. You're not going to want to mint it. Usually, not financial advice, but usually. And if there are any projects that are laggers or any really good projects like I've been seeing Equine, then you may want to try to buy them for the lows, which I did see during 265. However, now it did shoot up to around 360, and maybe it'll come back down and cool off a little bit. Maybe it'll continue to go on its bull run, but you don't want to try to buy once things are pumping. You want to buy them while they're not. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. We don't know how CNFTs and NFTs in general are going to react to this bear market that we are in, but we can see that right now, for the time being, CNFTs are holding up better than other NFTs. So maybe they continue because there's not that much liquidity. Maybe we just have a better community or a stronger community, at least for the time being. Who really knows? But we do have to be prepared for anything because we don't know what's going to happen. As always, guys, make sure to get outside, see your family, see your friends. We're here to make more money so we can spend more time with them. Till next time, guys, peace.
Get it like a G, but it never came easy. You got me coughing up a lung, I wish I rap like Wheezy. I keep my pace, so I'm sorry that I'm breezy. Keep my sneaks laced, cause I can't afford Yeezys. I don't want the gold, give me BTC. Y'all be acting crazy.